everyone, welcome to the weekly update in Fishy Business. It's Wednesday here at Fishy Business. As you can see, the fish are arriving. Kevin's got bags floating everywhere, lots of new goodies, and Reagan has some on the way. So I'm going to let you get to them in just a second. They're going to show you their highlights. But first, what I want to do, in last video, I talked about getting some ideas from you guys of what you would like as far as our tank tips that we're including in this video. And one of the ones that stood out is one on pH, just a simple breakdown of pH in both saltwater and freshwater and the variables thereof. So I brought in one of the best water guys, Sir Richard Bullard, to help. Why did I lose my words?
You're doing so good. Yeah.
Bananas?
Bananas.
Okay, so I'm going to say that again. We're going to leave it in the video. That's the failure, and Richard will help you right now in a second.
Hi, it's Kevin. I'm here to show you the highlights of some of the best looking stuff I got in freshwater this week. Come take a look. One of my favorite fancy plecostomus that we get in that's wild caught, these are green phantom plecostomus. They are like a yellowish green in color. These guys seldom get much over 6 inches in length. They're omnivores, so they will like to have some driftwood in their tank and do want their diet supplemented on top of regular algae. They also need some algae wafers about 2 to 3 times a week. I got some juvenile Tropheus duboisies. They are so cute. They've got their little jewel coloration going on. As they get more mature, those jewels will kind of fade out and they'll get a distinct white band across with a lot of blue in the fish. Really cool fish. Got in some juvenile frontosas. I did get in some slightly larger frontosas as well. These are a Lake Tanganyikan cichlid. They usually will blend in with most of your other African cichlids with no problem. They will usually outsize most of your Africans, but they are relatively mild in their behavior and temperament compared to most other Africans, so it's best if they do outsize the other guys. One of my favorite neotropical catfish that we carry, these guys come from South America. These are the Pimelodella pictus catfish. They do really well with semi-aggressive fish, preferably larger so nothing can remotely fit in their mouth because they are predatory. We got in a good assortment of some juvenile Oscars. These guys are a good juvenile size, but they are not so small that they need to be fed 3 times a day like the really small ones do. We got a good assortment of colors. Make sure you have a good sized tank. I recommend personally at least a 75-gallon tank for this fish because they will get in excess of 1 foot long. These are the Lima shovel nose. They do headstand, so that is normal. No, he's not dying. He's trying to look like a stick so he can ambush prey and eat it. They, like I just said, are predators. Make sure you keep them with nothing that will possibly fit in their mouth. They do get pretty good size. They do get in excess of 18 inches. Got in some beautiful champagne jam fancy guppy males. These guys are incredible. So I got some fancy silver tuxedo Dumbo guppies. These are all males. They look really neat, and as the name Dumbo might imply, their little pectoral fins are exaggerated to look like big Dumbo ears. I got in some nice looking albino Buenos Aires tetras. These guys do great in schools of 5 or more. Excellent for any fast community tank. Make great tank mates with barbs and stuff like that. I got in some nice looking Ryukin goldfish. Ryukins are an imported type of goldfish. They are basically a more compressed body version of the fantail, more spherical in body shape. Nice, fat, and derpy. I love them. They're so cute. Got in some really nice looking Bosemani rainbows. They came in macking out on the color really nicely. These guys will do really well mixed in with fast community fish or even larger community fish. And of course I had to get at least one little beastie. This week I got in a really cool looking purple wolffish. Keep fingers out of the tank or he will bite them off.
Okay, everybody, we've had a lot of people asking questions lately about pH in the water. That can vary depending upon what kind of fish you're keeping. There are river fish that like a pH anywhere from around a 6.5 to a 7.5, rainy season or dry season. Or there are lake fish that might like a pH of 8.2 to 8.6. If you get into the marine aquariums, it should be anywhere from an 8.0 to an 8.4. The higher the pH in the marine aquarium, normally the more stable the coral growth is. 8.4 would be target for that. The products we're going to discuss today are going to be ones that will help you achieve a stable pH. Some people will use aquarium salt to raise the pH for mollies, guppies, platies, live bears. It's also a good way to combat fungal and bacterial infections. We have cichlid lake salts and the Malawi Victoria buffer to be able to raise the pH, carbonate hardness, and hold it more stable for the lake fish. Everybody should consider using Prime when using city water or well water to remove chlorine, chloramine, ammonia, nitrite, nitrates, things like that. Neutral regulator will raise your pH and hold it stable. The only problem is using phosphates as a buffer, and phosphates can encourage algae and cause more problems if you run a lot of light. Always check your source water for the pH. If the pH is low, check the carbonate hardness, because you can use products to raise the carbonate hardness and end up with a much more stable pH in that fashion. We'll cross that bridge in person if you need to. It may be a little more long-winded than I'm allowed to do today. If you're using reverse osmosis water or purified water, we will use these, the alkaline buffer, yay us, raises pH and carbonate hardness, and the equilibrium to add back general hardness as well, something we can also touch on in person. And then we have the reef builder for carbonate hardness and a saltwater reef aquarium, and then a liquid additive called 8.4 that raises pH and holds it stable too. Again, come see us in person. We can get a little more in depth. I was only allowed 3 minutes.
Hello everyone, it's Reagan here for the saltwater portion of the weekly update. I've got a lot of cool things to show you, but first I am nerding out because Kat named all the betas names from Stranger Things. And that is my favorite show, okay? So I'm nerding out about that. Come pick you up a beta. Personal favorite is the one named Vecna. What a cool name. He's kind of mean, but anyway, I'll let you watch that. So now let's go take a look at my saltwater fish. So this absolutely elegant lady came in from one of our service accounts, and I just adore her. This is a pretty full-grown female Ocellaris clown. She is beautiful. Unfortunately, at this point, we cannot pair her. Clownfish, especially Ocellaris, are really good for cycling tanks. And this just shows you a great size that they get. They're very hardy. She would work well with larger fish at this point in her life because she is big and she did run the tank where she came from. But I just had to point her out to you because she is absolutely stunning. She's a perfect little lady. So I always like to point these guys out when I get them because they are very popular and they do very well in almost any type of aquarium. These are going to be your blue spot Fiji puffers. They are a type of dwarf puffer. So they don't get very large, so you can even put them in some smaller tanks as well. These guys are carnivores, meaty foods, as well as clams on the half shell, just to help wear down their ever-growing beaks that puffers have. But these are beautiful, they're stunning, they're pretty hardy for being a dwarf puffer, and they're not super aggressive either. So these guys, like I said, can typically work well in any type of aquarium. So next up is actually one of my favorite tangs. And these guys are more of a rarity. We don't keep them in stock very often just because we can't get them. So this is the Sawtail Galapagos tang. So these guys are a semi-aggressive fish. They can reach over a foot in length. They need a lot of swimming room, so definitely a 6-foot aquarium. A 150, 180 would be a really good choice for this guy. Their diet, like all tangs, does consist of meaty foods as well as algae and seaweed. But these guys are absolutely beautiful. They are reef safe as well. They're definitely a super cool, more of a rarity tang that work great in reef tanks and add a lot of activity to your tank as well. Alright guys, so those of you that know me know that I absolutely adore the triggerfish. And right now I have in a really small juvenile rectangle trigger. These guys work great in aggressive predatory tanks as they will eat inverts, crab, snails, and shrimp. And like the puffers, these guys do have ever-growing teeth that need to be worn down by things like clams on the half shell and crab clusters. Triggerfish do get pretty large. This guy reaches total between 12 and 14 inches in size. And these guys can be a little bit more aggressive, like I said. So definitely a fish-only tank for him. But rectangle triggers are a very hardy fish, especially for a triggerfish. These guys do very, very well in aquarium life. And this one is small, so you can watch him grow up and transform. I just love them. So this obscure looking little creature is a harlequin shrimp. This is a super large male harlequin shrimp. These guys typically hide out in the rocks, so you don't see them all that often, but they are phenomenal workers. So these guys are known to eat the little Asterina stars that pop up all over your tank that are pests. These guys will completely mow them down. And this one is already, like I said, a super large size. So if you've got Asterina stars and you need something to eradicate them, definitely come pick up the super large male harlequin shrimp. So this guy right here is probably my favorite goby of all time, definitely in my top 3. This is the pink spot watchman goby. These guys are a much larger bodied goby, as you can see right here. These guys do still pair up with pistol shrimp. I had a tiger pistol, pink spot watchman pair a while ago. So these guys still pair up. They are incredibly hardy, one of the hardiest gobies you can possibly have. And when I say pink, he is bright pink spots. That is a true pink on him. When I walked over to the tank to film, he immediately swam right out. They have so much personality, beautiful patterns and colors. I cannot recommend the pink spot watchman goby enough. So this is one of my all-time favorite dotty backs. This is the splendid dotty back. These are absolutely the most beautiful coloration, delicate patterns, just beautiful little ladies and gentlemen. And even though dotty backs are typically aggressive and jerks, the splendid dotty back is actually one of the more peaceful of the dotty backs. These guys can go with a lot of things that other dotty backs cannot because they're too mean. The splendid dotty back has so many beautiful characteristics to it. Dotty backs in general are a very hardy fish. They do very well in every type of aquarium, almost bulletproof fish. And as it's hiding, the splendid dotty back I can't get very often, so it's more of a rarity dotty back for me to have in. They stay small too, so you can put them in any type of aquarium. Something else I wanted to point out are these awesome clownfish I have in. I got in a huge shipment of clowns. So I have some assorted designer Ocellaris clowns. I've got some super cool Miss Bar Ocellaris clowns down here. I have some small spot Cinctus clowns. I have some black Ocellaris clowns. Some beautiful white platinum percula clowns. Some just extraordinary gold nugget maroon clowns. These guys are spectacular. And here I have some blood orange clowns, which are an Ocellaris species. And here I have my favorite type of clown, which are the awesome pink skunk clowns. These guys are awesome and guaranteed to host your anemones. And then last but not least are these awesome gold flake maroon clowns. So again, clowns are a great fish to have either in a pair or singly. And they're great for starting aquariums for cycling or just to add some color and activity to your tank.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video. There is a new video on the way of us putting together, or us, me and Andrew, putting together a Pro Clear. If you haven't seen any of the videos that we've done in the tank tips that are much earlier videos, maybe 2 years ago or so, there are a lot of instructional videos that we did. We're trying to get back to that, so watch this space because we're going to be filming that early next week and we'll get it out to you pretty quick. I think that's about it for this week. God bless and have a great week. It is only 30 inches long, so it doesn't take up a lot of space. It's 24 inches tall, so it's got a lot of height.
But pretty much Kevin has it organized to where typically everything on this wall is going to be semi-aggressive and can live together. Okay. Yes, so you can do the tiger barbs with these the blue-eyed Sahika cichlids.
I did not remember what size it was, so I had to look at it again. If you would wait for my cue. we could film this in real time with real results. I've seen in a long time.
Are you okay?
Slamming my face against the tank.
It looked like he looked like a cartoon character. It had just run right into a glass wall.
See, I'm not tall enough, so I can't put my head up.
Watch this.
Okay.
So my face is going.
Watch this. You need your camera too.
I was letting, well, I can't do it that fast. You're already picking things up.
I'm filming.
Oh, you filming? Okay. All right, here we go. Can't do it now. It's like he's kissing at that time. Oh, did you snort?
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna get home with this tank, and they're gonna fill it up with water or whatever, and they're gonna be like, what's that? And it's gonna be the outline of some lips and where a face was against it. Here we go. We call that chase compressed. So do the world a favor by adopting a beta. Do yourself a favor. Do us a favor, because for us, it's $4.99 to $24.99 every time you do it. You can have betas everywhere in every room of your house. Do yourself a favor, do the world a favor, more importantly, do a beta a favor. Adopt a beta today.